Watch 1226 on your side, wherever you go. Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, breaking news.
Continue to follow breaking news this evening. We're bringing you a live look now from Augusta where a child has been shot.
The scene you're watching there on the right of the screen just beginning to clear up a few minutes ago. But the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says all this happened on East Boundary, right around Sandbar Ferry Road, around 3:30 this afternoon. We know the child was shot in the leg and has been taken to AU Health for treatment.
Another child is detained in connection to this. We don't know the age of that juvenile, but we do know that a juvenile has been detained. Our crew, obviously, they're providing these pictures, but they're also working to learn the circumstances around what happened, any additional details. Of course, we will update you as soon as we get more information.
We're also watching a bit of an active radar this afternoon as we track some stories.
About 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks very much. COVID back in the news, and when you look at this national map from the CDC, you can see a little more red and yellow that you would have in the past month or so. The Northeast and the Southeast really hit hardest. The CDC says there's a higher community COVID level in those risk areas. Across the nation, the 7-day average of new cases right around 4 times more than it was just a month ago, up from 27,000 new cases to 109,000 new cases in a week. In our area, right here at home, the green shows we are still at low-level community spread, which is good news for those of us right here in the river region. So here's a look at COVID cases in Richmond County right now. You can see cases are up since the low point in April, but the daily cases still much lower than the highest peak we saw back in January. The county saw 322 cases over the most recently reported 2-week period. It is important to note a lot of people are using those at-home COVID tests these days, and those positive cases are not recorded.
And with COVID cases on the rise yet again for the last few weeks in South Carolina, DHEC continues to encourage everyone 5 and older to get vaccinated. But for those who have already been vaccinated, there could be some confusion about boosters. Mary Green has the details on what state health leaders say you need to know.
Dr. Jane Kelly, the assistant state epidemiologist here at DHEC, says it is unfortunate that there's some confusion about boosters, like who's eligible to receive one and how many they're recommended to get. But she says that's understandable, with those recommendations changing as the medical community learns more about COVID-19.
I know we're 2 years into this pandemic, but 2 years is not a very long time when you're learning about a new infectious disease.
So here's the latest guidance on boosters from the CDC. Anyone who has been fully vaccinated is eligible to receive a first booster. As of May, that includes kids as young as 5. Everyone is recommended to get this first booster at least 5 months after completing their initial series, meaning after their second dose of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines or their first dose of the one-shot Johnson & Johnson. When it comes to a second booster, all fully vaccinated adults who are 50 and older are advised to get that shot. So too is everyone 12 and older who is moderately to severely immunocompromised.
Meaning someone who's, say, has cancer and is being actively treated with chemotherapy, or an autoimmune condition like lupus or sarcoid, where they might be on strong medications that weaken the immune system. Or anyone who's had an organ transplant.
People in both these groups are recommended to get their second booster at least 4 months after their first one. DHEC is still recommending everyone age 5 and older get vaccinated in the first place. Dr. Kelly says she's especially concerned about 5 to 11-year-olds. At this point, fewer than 1 in 5 South Carolina kids in that age group have been fully vaccinated. Reporting Columbia, I'm Mary Green.
People can mix and match their vaccines and boosters as well. So someone who received, say, the first 2 doses of the Moderna shot, for instance, is able to get a Pfizer booster.
The man accused of killing 3 people in a Cobb County country club last year will likely face the death sentence. The district attorney says nothing is official, but he does plan to seek the death penalty against Byron Roden. The bodies of Gene Siller, Henry Valdez, and Paul Pearson all found on that golf course at the Pine Tree Country Club in Kennesaw back in June last year. Police say Siller, the club's golf pro, was shot when he stumbled onto the crime already in progress. Police found Valdez and Pearson tied tied up and shot shot to death in the bed of that pickup truck on the golf course.
Survivors and families of mass shooting victims spoke today at yet another hearing on gun violence on Capitol Hill, including a fourth grader who survived the Uvalde shooting.
Susan McGinnis brings us the latest on another emotional day and the status of gun legislation. But a warning first off, some of the testimony is hard to hear.
I left my daughter at that school.
Gut-wrenching accounts today from witnesses, families, and survivors of mass shootings.
He shot my friend that was next to me, and I thought he was going to come back.
On video, Mia Cirillo, a Robb Elementary School fourth grader, telling how she survived the Uvalde shooting by pretending to be dead.
Tried to grab the blood, and I put it all over me.
I could have lost my baby girl. But she is not the same little girl that I used to play with.
Mia's father still shaken, pleading with lawmakers.
Schools are not safe anymore. Something needs to really change.
Felix and Kimberly Rubio lost their daughter that day.
So today, we stand for Lexi. And as her voice, we demand action.
Uvalde's pediatrician describing the scene he found at Robb Elementary.
2 children whose bodies have been pulverized by bullets fired at them, decapitated, whose flesh had been ripped apart.
Witness after witness begging Congress.
I signed up to save lives. I do my job. And I guess it turns out that I am here to plead, to beg, to please, please do yours.
Your thoughts and prayers are not enough.
Among demands heard today, an assault weapons ban, raising the legal purchase age, strengthening background checks, and more. Emotional testimony on display for all to see, but behind closed doors, negotiators hash out proposals appearing to grow more modest by the day.
We are failing our children, and we are failing each other.
Republicans treading a fine line, addressing mass shootings while ensuring gun owners' rights.
When you disarm law-abiding citizens, you create not more safety, but more peril.
While momentum for action appears stronger than seen in years, the question remains, will this time be different?
Local communities will come together this Saturday to honor lives lost to gun violence and demand that gun violence prevention and safety are a priority. It is hosted by the CSRA chapter of March for Our Lives. They will gather at 6 o'clock at the Unitarian Universalist Church on Walton Way Extension. Now, after they march, the group will hold a candlelight vigil for the victims of the Uvalde shooting. They'll also have a special memorial for Arbery Anthony, the local 8-year-old killed in a drive-by shooting.
Still to come, first at 5, a Georgia couple travels to Alabama for a big concert, but what happens when they get there is going viral. We'll show you ahead. First at 5.
And we are still monitoring a few thunderstorms out there this afternoon. We'll give you a radar update and a look at the hottest temperatures so far this year in that 7-day forecast up next.
It's a conversation.
Okay, take a look at this. More heavy rain in Birmingham today, causing some flash flooding. This is what it looked like this morning, and a strip mall parking lot flooded right up to the front doors.
Hikes. According to the National Weather Service, Birmingham got 3 to 6 inches of rain as a cluster of storms passed through. They're expecting to have more storms throughout the day because, you know, when it rains, it pours, and the last thing they need, more water.
There it is in Alabama. We've seen it in South Florida. It seems like the whole southeast is getting pretty soaked right now.
Absolutely. They still have a flash flood warning in effect for areas around Birmingham, and they are still tracking some of those decent thunderstorms this afternoon. So unfortunately, not the best situation for them. But the storms for us, they've been very hit or miss. Looking less likely for that rain as we get towards sunset and into the overnight until we get to early tomorrow morning. And then Friday, we're drying back out. Low 90s for high temps into the weekend. Just a chance for a few isolated storms Saturday. I would definitely keep those outdoor plans.
Riley, thanks a lot. A couple from Columbus, Georgia going viral after an act of kindness in Alabama.
Katie and Zach Watson, along with almost 70,000 other people, headed to Birmingham to see Garth Brooks in concert.
As Lyndon Blake reports, their Uber to get there turned into the ride of a lifetime for them and their driver.
A canceled Uber sent Katie Watson and her husband to the next available driver, which happened to be Vicki Wallace.
It's miraculous how God works in mysterious ways.
Watson didn't know it right away, but quickly learned Wallace is a big Garth Brooks fan.
He's so sweet. He just,
always puts God first. You know, he's awesome.
So when this happened,
Literally on this block over here, a block away, right? Katie turned and she says like this. She goes, so if you want to park, I have an extra ticket. My friend had COVID, you know, and she couldn't come.
Wallace couldn't believe it.
What? You know, are you serious?
So she U-turned it so fast.
At first, I really was like, I look terrible. I had a t-shirt and some sweatpants.
But quickly told herself,
listen, this is Garth Brooks. I'm going. Things like this don't happen every day.
It was just meant to be.
Wallace and the Watsons sang along to Garth singing Sweet Home Alabama.
I'm a country girl at heart, you know. I'm a Southern belle. This was the best part of the show.
And because of the Garth Brooks concert,
Random acts of kindness, they do go a long way, or at least they touch people.
Wallace and Watson have a story and friendship to last a lifetime.
I'm sure.
Yeah. How great is that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I love the U-turn. Sweatpants and a t-shirt, I don't care.
Park it right here.
Yeah, Vicky's not even from Birmingham, by the way. She came there to drive people in the area, just to be close to the concert and take it all in.
Just to soak in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
As you saw, she did a lot more than soak in the atmosphere. She was right there in the heart of it all, and that is a great story. Love that they all were able to meet in that on that Uber ride. Such a random thing.
Meant to be. After the break, a nonprofit organization involved with the foster care system is trying to create some stability for foster children. We'll talk about that coming up.
A log truck driver surviving this crash near Atlanta. This was yesterday when the driver crashed that log truck into a storage facility in DeKalb County. That truck left the roadway, flipped onto its side there, and you can see the damage on the side of that unit as well, causing it to cave in. Police and the fire department on the scene almost immediately to help out. Investigators say the driver is still alive, but we don't know the extent of those injuries. But a pretty dramatic crash there in DeKalb County. Hundreds of foster kids in South Georgia spending their nights in hotels. The Department of Family and Children's Services reporting some children stayed in a hotel room for at least 150 days. The nonprofit called Call to Care provides supplies and grants to parts of South Georgia. They say nearly 100 kids in foster care were placed in hotel rooms, and that number is only going up. Kids Count Data Center adding up the number of foster care children in Georgia for a decade. That number started increasing in 2013 to a little over 7,600, and thousands of children have ended up in foster care every year since. The highest count in 2018, a total of nearly 13,700 children with no place to call home. The executive director of the Call to Care says there's a shortage of foster care homes.
So not only children have been abused, they've now been removed from their home, and now they're going not even to a home, they're going into a hotel room. So there's no really stability there, right? We're not creating more stability for them, really. We're creating some safety, but it's not stability.
The director says during a foster home shortage, it is time now to reach out to communities across the state to create some stability for these kids.
Looking at gas prices this week, they are still above $4. According to AAA, the average gas price in Augusta is $4.35 a gallon. In Aiken County, it's almost 20 cents more at your local station. The national average, get this, almost $5, and it is still rising. Drivers in Georgia this week are budgeting how much they can actually put in their tank. Some are even calling the prices ridiculous.
Beyond ridiculous,
yeah.
I think. Governor Kemp, of course, suspended the state's gas tax a few weeks ago. That's helping some. Zach Summers asking drivers how they're handling these higher prices.
With every passing day, ridiculous. Seemingly a new record for drivers already dealing with high gas prices.
Saturday, I put $6 in. And today is what? 4 days later? $30? That's too much.
According to AAA, the national average price for regular jumped another 5 cents on Tuesday to $4.92 a gallon. In Georgia, the average is $4.33.
Can't change it. What you gonna do?
For drivers like Emmanuel Ford, it means limiting his spending, even after finding $4.17 a gallon at this Murphy USA in College Park.
I got $15 worth, and that's it. $4.67.
Bishop Romo drives a 2005 Audi and requires premium gas and isn't as fuel efficient as he would like.
I have to sacrifice, like what I'm going to buy for groceries, how I pay my rent.
Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo offered little hope for drivers, saying in an interview on Tuesday there's not much more action President Biden can take, instead putting the blame on Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
You know, since Putin moved troops to the border of Ukraine, gas prices have gone up over $1.40 a gallon. And the president is asking for Congress and others for potential ideas.
One possibility includes Congress pausing the federal fuel tax, which is about 18 cents a gallon. Governor Kemp recently extended Georgia's gas tax suspension through mid-July, saving drivers around 30 cents a gallon.
It's frustrating.
Zach Summers, CBS 46 News.
There's also an increase of gas prices in South Carolina because the Department of Revenue is increasing the gas tax next month.
And we're going to take a closer look at South Carolina's gas tax coming up in the next half hour. But can you imagine prices in Georgia being 30 cents higher right now?
All I know is I put $96 in my tank over the weekend, and it was painful.
Right there at the $100 mark.
It hurt, Riley.
It does, man. Talking about triple the prices of just a couple years ago. Crazy stuff. Hey, for Thursday, we do have the chance for some early morning showers and storms, but later to the afternoon looking drier for us. Then look at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
You feel it at the pump. Heavily.
Still to come, Augusta Emergency Services come together for a training event unlike anything they've ever done before. We'll show you what they're prepping for when News 12 First at 5 continues. Don't go anywhere.
George Sick Injury Lawyers has the experience to help you